Welcome to The Road Less Traveled with Tiffany Rosenbaum. This podcast is about sharing the success and failure of entrepreneurs. Join in and learn from others' mistakes so you don't have to go through the same hardships in business. Now let's welcome your host, business coach, real estate investor, and proud wife and mom, Tiffany Rosenbaum.
Welcome to another episode of The Road Less Traveled. And my executive assistant is putting me in the hot seat today. So she's going to ask some questions that I have not seen. I don't know what's going to go on, and we will just get real and raw with you. But before we start, I want to show you something that I've absolutely fallen in love with. That was her idea, and it is my Remarkable. I used to be a paper girl, and now I am a Remarkable girl and love it, and I carry it around with me everywhere. Thank you, Ann.
You are so welcome. I've had my Remarkable for, going on 5 years now, and it's my favorite. You know, I can carry it with me. I never lose my notes, and as you know, I am a notorious note taker, and so I used to just have mountains and stacks of legal pads everywhere. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's in the notebook from 3 months ago on a Tuesday.
Oh, that was me.
Totally been there. So now I keep everything organized, and it's just made my life so much easier because I can always find everything that I'm looking for. So it's
100%.
Nice.
I love it. It's almost like a computer, but it's just so perfectly sized that you can put it anywhere. So I carry it in my backpack every day.
Oh yeah, you know I send it with you on all your trips, which is nice. And then I can actually just upload things directly to you. All of your notes for all your speaking, I just put them right into your Remarkable. It's great.
It is.
So,
Thank you.
Very cool. All right. Well, today I wanted to get really granular because when I first started working with you, we had a very clear vision and a great conversation around the things and the goals that you wanted to obtain. So I really wanted to do an interview with you today so that we can kind of understand where that came from, how we got there, and where it's going.
Perfect.
So, all right. So this is all around building a 22,000 door vision in the next 10 years. And so that's what this whole episode is going to be about today.
Hey, 2,000 doors. That is no joke.
No, 22,000.
22,000.
22,000 doors.
It is.
And it's a number that's really stuck with me because I've always been a person of really big vision. And I love to see that in other entrepreneurs and other women. And it's a novel goal. And I just really want to dig in to some questions that I've always had since I've started working here.
It's actually, real quick, it's actually interesting that you bring this one up today because I can't tell you how many times I've been told I'm crazy. Why would you go after that? What's the purpose of it, Tiff? Come on, go on a beach. You can go have fun. And I'm like, what's the purpose of life, right?
Yeah.
And so I still get called crazy almost on a daily basis about having a dream so big.
And that's okay.
And that's what I've come to. It doesn't matter. But I feel like we're here on Earth, and we're here to see how many lives we can impact. And business is a great way to impact lives.
Yeah.
And so there's so much behind this, but I'm excited to get into the questions, and let's see what you have for me.
Well, just to start, look at how many people call Jeff Bezos crazy.
That's
right?
True.
When he started selling books online, people are like, there's no way it's going to work, and look what he's been able to amass since. And Elon Musk just became the first trillionaire by a long shot. Mm-hmm. And it's not because of any other reason other than the fact that he's crazy.
No, it's. I just saw a meme the other day. If you have $1, you are closer to the person that is the second richest in the world than the second person to Elon Musk.
Yes.
If you own $1,
$1.
Think about how big of a gap that is.
Yep.
And it all came from Elon Musk. What's incredible about him, and I truly I look up to him a lot in a lot of ways, is when he puts something in his mind, he's like, I'm going after it, and there's no other way someone's going to stop me. And that is why he is able to create what he envisions, because even when he said the rocket, he said he has 3 times to do it, and guess what? All 3 rockets blew up, but his 4th made it. And there's no out, right? And I think that's what makes a difference in the people that set goals and the people that just dream about goals. When you say, there is no other way, it just is what it is, and I'm going to go for it and make it happen.
Yeah.
So.
No, I completely agree. All right, I want to get into some of these questions, though. All right. Most people struggle to imagine 2,000 doors. How do you think about 22,000 doors?
I'm not a small thinker, but I remember a couple years ago, about a year and a half ago, I was like, why are we really in existence? What do we truly want to create? What's the vision for the company? And so I dialed it back and I was like, what is the vision? And what it came to be was we want to help 5,000 families create lasting legacies and generational wealth through real estate and expert asset management. And so I was like, okay, 5,000 families, what does that equate to? Well, our average owner has 4.5 units. So really our vision is to to manage and operate third party is 22,500. And that's where that number came from. And like I said at the beginning, the whole purpose is to impact how many lives we can impact and to see how many we can. And through business and through managing other people's real estate, literally, we can impact residents, we can impact owners, and we can impact the team we built here. And so that's where the 22,500 came up.
That's awesome. That's a really interesting way to look at it. I mean, most people look at it and say, "Oh, well, it's just because I want to be the biggest," or "Oh, I want the fame and the glory and the fortune," but that's not why you're doing it.
No, I have a little bit of thoughts. Like, I want to be big. Like, just because I want to see how far we can go. And that's more of a competitive side of me.
Yeah.
But I think people need a purpose. I need a purpose. Like, even to be a big or however big you want to be, at the end of the day, why? Like, what's behind it? Like, you can't just say, hey, I want 22,000 doors, because the days that you want to quit, you're going to be like, why am I doing this, right?
Yeah.
And so the whole reason is I truly have a passion of what real estate can do for people. Because real estate is one of the biggest ways to build generational wealth. And I know what it did for me when I was on food storage and I couldn't provide for my family. And that was where that came from. I think we can really help families create generational wealth. And there's so many stories behind that we have that are changing people's lives because of real estate. And so that's why.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. I just love that there's a really impactful why. And it's not about yourself. It's not about the money. It's not about anything other than, look, like, I know what it's done for me. And there's a very clear vision of what it can do for others.
Yeah. I think you can be driven by lifestyle. I think you can be driven by a lot of things, but I don't think money alone will get you to go through the hard. Because I can tell you there's been days I've wanted to cry underneath my desk. I can tell you there's been days that I'm like, am I the wrong person for this? There's been days that I'm like, am I going to blow it up? And at the end of the day, it's like I really look back at my team and the amazing team we have and what we're building together, and that you start working for something else. You working for yourself, I don't think it's the same way. Like Elon Musk, I think it's so much more than him. Yeah. And Jeff Bezos is so much more than him. Yep. And it's looking at who are they impacting, the industry, making a difference, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I always go back to, and I've always had very lofty goals myself, and I always go back to a phrase, and I can't remember who told it to me, but it's a very old saying: "How do we eat an elephant?"
Oh yeah.
One bite at a time, right? So you're not looking at the whole 22,000, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's so easy," right? No. You're looking at it like, this is a goal, a really far away goal, but what do I need to be doing now, today, tomorrow, next week, next month, in order to achieve that final goal?
I love that you brought that up, because I think any entrepreneur, a lot of them that I've talked to in the property management industry, I think it's really easy to come in and get stuck behind your emails. And that's something that every day I have to work to make sure that's not what I'm doing. Yeah. Because if I get stuck behind my emails and that's all I'm doing, then at the end of the day, I am not serving the team, and I'm not developing the team, and I'm not growing to that 22,000. So now the 22,500, every decision we make goes towards that 5,000 families. So whatever we do, every day I come in, even if I've already spent an hour on emails, I'll go, oh, what am I doing? I have to realign and position myself to make sure that we're all moving towards the right way, right?
And this very much leads into my next question, but before we get there, is the difference between working on your business and working in your business, right? Doing the emails, answering phone calls, doing all of those things that's in the business, right? So kind of leading into the next question, what has to be true for your vision to become a reality?
Ooh.
So what is the on the business side versus the in the business side?
Yeah, I think that was actually my hardest thing to work on the business, in the business, because as an entrepreneur on the business, you don't see results every day. Like all of a sudden, it's not like a check mark, hey, I got that done today. It's like, that's like a year down the road, you know?
Yeah.
When I'm in the business, like when I was in the business, I could, I talked to that owner, I saved that tenant, I saved that owner. I mean, I got that email off my plate, you know? That check mark was really easy, and that's a dopamine. You know,
100%.
and so many entrepreneurs get stuck in the business. I can't tell you how many I talk to, and especially in the property management industry, to get them to think outside the box and go, hey, I got to work on the business. And I think the reason why it's really hard to transition to that is because all of a sudden you have to become the visionary. You have to see it, you have to talk about it, and then you have to get your team to buy into it and love it and want to be a part of that purpose.
Yeah.
So it's so much different than, and you also, this is a big shift. When you start working on your business, no longer are you managing properties. You're managing people, and you're managing vision, and you're managing how we grow.
Expectations.
And and so all of a sudden you're managing standards, and it's so different. And so the mindset of the leader, of the CEO, of the entrepreneur has to shift. And I gotta say, that's a little painful.
Very painful.
It's not easy, and I know a lot of people are like, that's easy, that's not painful, and I see a lot of people do it, but I'm like, for me, it was every day I had to strategically think about that. Like, nope, I can't do that. Nope, I can't do that. Because managing properties and real estate, I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
But to go into this other side, I had to put myself with people that would challenge me and call me on my BS. And that's why I hired an advisory board. So they would be like, no, Tiff, that sucks. And no, Tiff, you got to do this. And okay, you know. So I think it's a shift in mindset. It's a shift in belief. It's a shift in everything. That's why so many property management companies do not grow over 500 doors. Because your whole you have to completely shift your mindset. And then you have to shift your mindset again at 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. Like all of a sudden, it's a completely different beast. And those breaks, it's very hard for people to get over.
I completely agree. And I look at it as that transition. At the beginning, you're the fireman.
Yep.
Right? You're running around and you're just putting out fires. So got to call that owner because you're it.
Mm-hmm.
Buck stops with you. It starts with you. It stops with you. And you were everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And as you transition and you start getting employees under your belt and you're starting to delegate, it is so difficult to say, yes, you can do it your way. My way might be a little different, but you can totally do it your way. And you need to kind of just back off and just let them. It's like having kids, right? It is no different. You got to just let them run, and they're going to fall down and scrape their knee, and you just have to sit back there and go, yay. You can't react. You can't have any negative things. It's just, yay. Okay, let's get up and try again.
Okay, so that's the hardest thing. I only laugh because when we started, we had a home and we had an office inside the home. And so we had employees come to our home.
Oh, yeah.
And we had this employee sit right here. And I'd listen to the phone calls and I'd cringe. And then I'd correct. And I'm like, I was the worst manager. It was bad. And I'd be like, no, you got to say it like this. And then I realized I'm just crippling the entire business.
Yeah.
And as long as you have processes, procedures, and you're abiding by the laws and people are trained, then they're going to say it a different way. But guess what? 9 times out of 10, if you hire right, they actually say it a better way. And they actually are better with the residents because they're not putting out the fires. Yeah. They're building the relationships.
That's 100% true. I completely agree with that. So on to my next question. What does a 22,000 door company actually look like operationally? I'm sure that you have thought about this and you have envisioned it in your mind because that's what most entrepreneurs do. They don't just sit back and say, oh, yeah, that'd be nice someday. It's what does it look like when I get there?
So, yes, actually, I called one of my mentors on my advisory boards and I sat with him and we were talking. I was actually outside at tanning salon because it was a weekend. And we were sitting there, we were talking, and I was going to go in. I was like, no, this is a good conversation. And we started talking about what I wanted. And this was right after the vision came about. And he was like, okay, what I want you to do, here's your homework. You need to go line out every single year. How many team members you have, what has to happen, how many doors, what's the cost of this, everything. And so as we built this out, I think it's going to still move because I've never been at 22,000 doors. So, but I have it literally mapped out every year how many team members I have to hire, what's the churn rate on the team members, what's the churn rate on the units, what's the growth on the units that have to be brought on. And I have the first vision of it. I think we'll probably have 10 visions of it. Because, and this is where the advisory board is really good for me, because I've never been there. And sometimes our minds can only envision what we know. And so when we envision, we try to go past that cloud, past that brick wall we've never been to. We'll put it out and we'll line it out. But at the end of the day, some of our things don't really add up. Yeah. But when an advisor can come in and say, that doesn't add up. Or, hey, you need to work here. So our last, one of our last board meetings, I sat down and I showed it to him. And I was so excited to show it to him. I was like, oh, I've worked so many hours. And they turned around and they tore it apart. Literally tore it apart. I remember this board meeting like yesterday. And I sat there and I just listened. And I mean, they could tell it hurt. And it did. Because I had spent probably 40 hours on this thing, if not more. Just really envisioning, just really dialing it in. Using all the systems I can use to really get this in. And every single one of them would just poke holes in it. And I sat there, and afterwards, I left, and I felt defeated. One of my board members called me up and said, hey, Tiff, think about this. And I didn't say anything. He said, think about this. We're poking holes because we see where you want to go. And I said, 100%. And so, I let myself have a pity party for about 2 seconds, and then I said, all right. So I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm listening to everything they're saying. And I think that's going to go on for the years. So to say what exactly it looks like, I don't think I actually know yet. And I think because as I am learning as a leader and an entrepreneur, I'm going to continue to make mistakes. But I can tell you this. There are levels that we will break and have to rebuild everything. And we're at 1,200 units right now. I think there will be another break at 1,700. And there will be another break at 2,500. And then the breaks will get farther out because we'll build systems that are meant for bigger companies. But I think that is something that every single week I work on to envision it and to understand a little bit more.
No, I love that. And I think I love everything that you said. I mean, to what you were saying about your board, I was always taught I never pay people to lie to me.
That's true.
Right? So especially if you're paying a board, if you're paying your employees, they shouldn't be lying to you. Mm-hmm. Right? That isn't how growth is going to happen. So if you're just paying them to say like, oh yeah, you did a great job, oh, you got a B+ on your homework, that's not going to get you farther. But what they're going to say is, hey, this is good. How can we do better? Right? And that's what all great mentors do.
Yeah, the advisory board, and that's when I interviewed him. I said, if you can't flat out call me out, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
And they can call me out, and it's brutal sometimes. But I also think I'm that person that needs that to be able to continue to grow. And I don't think we grow or learn through comfort. I think we grow and learn through very much discomfort. And I think that's just like if you go to a gym. If I don't do any weights, my muscles aren't going to grow. Mm-hmm. But that last rep, that really painful one, that's actually what makes us grow the most. Mm-hmm. And so that's what an advisory board is for me and my partner, and to make sure that we can continue to learn and grow and see where we want to go that we've never been.
Yeah. No, I love that. Speaking of where you've never been, what risks do you think others underestimate when scaling at this level?
I don't think people see, it depends on how you scale. But any way you scale, you're going to churn more. So, for instance, people that have 500 doors and have 10%, you're churning 50 a year, right? You have 2,000 doors, you're churning 200, And the thing about it is, I was just talking to Matt Whitaker, and their churn is like 20%. So, and they're at 15,000 doors. Ooh. All of a sudden, you're churning thousands of doors a year.
Yeah.
And to make sure your company doesn't deplete, you got to make sure you're continuing to bring on units.
Yeah.
So I think your small issues now become really big issues if they're not fixed.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, when you're growing, because last year we grew at 122%, when you're growing that quick, you have this bowling ball. And this bowling ball that's continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have to stay in front of that. Otherwise, you're going to get ran over. Because you have to see what is going wrong before it goes wrong. Or you can just churn out everything you just brought on.
Yeah.
And so I think what entrepreneurs need to understand is it's going to take a lot more effort on your time and your energy. And you better be willing to sacrifice. And I can tell you I sacrificed sleep. I sacrificed vacations. I sacrificed everything. But when I put a goal in place, I'm not going to put a goal in place and say, oh, today doesn't work. Or, oh, tomorrow doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's always an excuse why you can't do it. Or you can make excuses why you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so.
No, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier about, helping 5,000 families, right? And so it's easier to give up the vacations and the sleep because you have a real vision for the people that you're trying to support and help. And I think that it makes those decisions a lot easier, right? When it's for a good cause. Right?
It is. It does. And I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot that can happen. And I think it's not going to be easy by any means. And I think it's going to be painful. And I think it's going to be hard. And I think those words have a negative connotation in the world right now. That's great if it's hard, because if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Correct.
If it was simple, we'd all have 22,000 doors, right? But I think that's what makes the difference. And that's what will make the impact. And that's what will help other people create that generational wealth that I really want to see other people create.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And hey, you know what? If it was easy, we would all look like The Rock.
That's so true, dang
it. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm like, man, I really just wish working out was easier.
Yeah, right?
Okay, so what are you preparing for today that won't matter in another 5 years? So it kind of leads back to the conversation we had about scaling, right? So we're working on a whole bunch of stuff right now. And I know the stuff you're working on behind the scenes because I'm there every day. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of things that we are working on now that are going to need to be rebuilt.
Oh, 5 years, I think all the tech's going to have to be rebuilt. This is one thing that we're looking at doing. We're looking at bringing on IT staff, like tech staff, to be able to start building out our tech. Because I think tech is moving so fast with AI and everything. I think in the next 5 years, what we have today is not going to be what we have in 5 years.
It'll be obsolete.
It will be.
I mean, just at the rate that technology turns over. I mean, look at computers. I mean, if you've got a phone older than 18 months, I mean, the thing practically doesn't work.
It's so true. Mine turned off today. I've had it for a couple years now. So, But I think that's what people don't understand, like with this AI and how fast it's moving. I think what we see today, even what we're going to see in a year or even 2 years, I think the world we're in today is going to completely be different. And I think there's exciting parts about that. I think there's scary parts about that. But I think overall, if we all come together and work together for it, I think it'll be better.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yep. And I think that, again, I know that a lot of the people that you are being mentored by and your board, they are all really big in the industry. And it's so cool to kind of watch the behind the scenes and watch the evolution of everything that you're doing. It's really impressive to watch.
You get to see a lot. It's true.
I do.
And you get to hear a lot of conversations. And I think, like you said, I think there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. And when you grow rapidly, there's a lot of pain points and there's a lot of things. And it's really nice to have people to bounce things off of.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Okay. All right. Next question. What systems are you building now that your future self will thank you for?
Oh.
I know which one this is.
I am so excited about this. I really am. Like, I went home and I really was just diving into property management. To me, I think I hate to say this, but I think we all do it almost 100% wrong. Like, we say we're the experts, but then we go to the owner and ask for the information. I'm like, no, that makes no sense. And so one of the things that we came out with in our company, we want to be the Amazon of property management. What's interesting about Amazon is literally you will go on Amazon's page to buy something, even if it's more expensive when there's a store 5 minutes away. Why? Because of ease, and they are pretty much the experts in the industry. You go there for anything. Even when you're in a store, have you done this? This is what's funny.
Oh, yeah.
You walk down an aisle and you're like, that cost $10. Let me pull it up on Amazon right here. And then people buy it on Amazon when they're in another store. Yep. But I'm like, wow. And so somehow I was really brainstorming. I love to brainstorm and envision. And I was like, our onboarding sucks. And that's just a matter of fact. Our onboarding sucks.
Oh, not just ours.
But everybody's.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible. And the experience of it. And I was like, how do we change this? And so I went to the drawing board.
It's incredibly antiquated. I mean, with all of the technology and all of the AI and everything that we have, why is it that we're still filling out paper forms to tell you what the property is, what the lockbox code is?
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And so I got to a drawing board and I was like, what do I envision this at? And what would make it where it's just swoop, swipe. And I'm like, oh. So we literally built a custom onboarding experience where our owners shouldn't have to put in one thing. And I'm really excited about it. And we're in testing phase. And we should be going live in about a week. And so I just did the revamp of it with our developer. And so I'm really excited about it because I think that's the first step. But the whole second step is to figure out how we create Amazon experience for the residents, Amazon experience for our owners, Amazon experience for our team here in the office, all those things. And so I'm really excited about this one. And it's only the start of something great that's coming.
I completely agree. And again, just being able to be behind the scenes and watch that happen, you went from, hey, I have an idea, to here's the initial framework, to I've built this out, to it's now in testing phase in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been about 3 weeks.
I think that's the hardest thing for entrepreneurs, though. Like because what we do is usually we just say, hey, this is what I want. And then they have someone do it, but it's not the vision. Yes. I think the hardest thing is to go, hey, this is my vision. How do I get it out on paper or developed in a way that someone else can take it and develop it?
Yep.
And so, and I think my vision only became better because of our team. So once I put out a vision where it was mocked up, then I sent it out to our team and I said, all right, tear it apart. Tell me how it sucks. Tell me how it's horrible. And they laughed. They're like, Tiff, but it's great. I said, no. Amazon doesn't say it's great. Amazon says, hey, this is horrible and you need to fix this.
Yeah.
And so we went through a lot of those reiterations to go, okay, what's a pain point you're seeing? Where's the pain points? Because there's pain points in everything we do. And we've got to make it where it's not painful. Yeah. And so once we went through that a few times, then I sent it to the developer and he just sent it back. He did an NDA. I was like, I need you to do an NDA on this one.
That's awesome.
And so I'm really excited about it because I think it's going to create this experience where it's like, oh, you really are the industry leader. And then I have something else on the back end that I'm really excited about, that it's just, we just did one of our meetings on it today, and I think that's going to be the next thing.
Well, none of our listeners have signed an NDA, so we're going to postpone and hold off on that until that's actually live and launched. Yeah. So, but that's really cool. I mean, I was definitely a part of that process, and it was just so cool to just watch everything. And going back to your point about what a lot of entrepreneurs do, I call it entrepreneurial ADD. Mm-hmm. Right. And we all have these great visions, and then we get about halfway through and it's like, ooh, shiny object. And then we, divert and go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And it's so impressive to watch you and say, I am laser focused on getting this done. And we were blocking time off on your calendar so you could work on it every day for multiple hours. And it was just work. And you're like, okay, now I've got something. And then you move forward. And I just think it's so cool to just, again, watch you go through all of that.
I appreciate it. I think the important part is, like I said, the vision. And so often we don't get our vision out to exactly what we want. And so no one can really move forward with it. Yeah. So I think that's what entrepreneurs really need to work at. And I was just on a meeting today asking someone, because they were talking about their team and how they were having issues. Like, hey, do they know your vision? Do they know where you're going? And this person looked at me and goes, maybe? And I'm like, huh. And I never understood how important the vision and the mission statements and all that was until we actually put it in place. Because before I was like, that's not a big deal. But when we put it in place, all of a sudden it gave something to look back on. Why are we here? What are we doing? And everything we do now goes to that. And so.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard something from a mentor of mine quite a few years ago, and you talked about enrolling people in your vision, right? And you can't just tell people this is what the vision is, go and do it, right? You need to enroll, and a part of the way that you enroll is by getting them involved in the process. So this entire system that you've put together over the last month, you were involving every aspect, everybody from the regional manager to the GM to all of the employees, the BDMs, and even our even some of our VAs. You're like, tear all of this apart, and it's at every single level of the organization that you have enrolled people in this. So when they see it come out, there's a sense of pride, and there's a sense of pride of I helped to create that, and that to me is a lot about enrollment.
Oh, I think that's important because I think entrepreneurs' vision, if they only take their vision and nobody else's feedback on it, I think it's going to fail. Because we're only one mind. And I do truly believe 2 minds are better than 1, 3 minds are better than 2. And what's interesting, I sent it to one of my remote team members I got on the web, and I'm like, tell me how bad it was. And he laughed. He goes, you're only saying that because you know it's amazing. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you this because I really want you to tell me the pain points. Yeah. Go through it and say, Tiff, this is horrible. It doesn't look right. And so I think that's incredibly important. A vision's one thing, but actually getting to the end result is so important to have your team a part of it. And I didn't understand that until later on in life. I wish I would have known that earlier.
Yeah. Nope, that makes a lot of sense. So one of my last questions is going to be, if someone copied your systems tomorrow, what couldn't they copy?
They couldn't copy the drive, the vision. They can say the vision, but you got to have passion behind it. And they couldn't copy our team. And don't get me wrong, we have our own issues. We have our own mistakes. We have our own, like, oh, crap, I should have done that different. And our systems aren't perfect. But what you can't copy our team and our care and how passionate we are about property management. Most people get in property management because of the fact that they went, oops, I got in it, or oh, I fell into it, or I had to. No, I come from a long line of real estate, and I love property management. I absolutely am passionate about it, would not change my job. I love coming into the office, and people call me crazy every day. Even on my mastermind group, they're like, you really do? I'm like, yes, I really love what I do because of the impact we can have. And that doesn't mean we're perfect, 100%, but I don't think you can't steal that.
No, I agree, and I think that if in almost every industry, I mean, you think about lawyers and CPAs and every industry, you're going to find those people that are like, I became a CPA because I love accounting. I mean, that's definitely not me, and I think that those people are crazy, right? So it's going to happen in every industry, but it's rare to find. It is very rare to find people that are so incredibly passionate about what they're doing and why they're doing it and how they're doing it, and like just all the little aspects of it. And it's very interesting to.
And I'd have to add one more thing to that, because what makes it completely different, and I'm going to have to give props to my husband on this, actually, Daniel. From the moment we got into the business, and the reason why we got into this business was we really understood what real estate could become to people. Yeah. And we understand how to analyze it and recommend it or deny it. And I can tell you how many times Daniel has said, I don't recommend that property. And the investors really come to us because of that. Like, because they know when we recommend it, then we would actually put our name to it and actually buy it. And I think that's different. So often people get, and I can't tell you the stories, so often people buy real estate because the real estate agent says it's a great deal, and then they come and they're like, I'm underwater. And I'm like, well, why'd you buy it? Because the real estate agent told me to. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Know your numbers. But I think to have someone in the property management game, understanding how to analyze and tell you to not buy a property if it wasn't good, I think that's rare.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, I always look at incentives, right? And what is the incentive of the person that's trying to sell me something? And is it, are they making profit from it? And if it's like, okay, yes, if that is the case, I'm not saying that they're, malevolent in any way, but they're looking to make a sale. right? And so I always look at it with a grain of salt. And, you ask the difficult questions. And the fact that Daniel will just come out and say, like, look, I don't think you should buy this property. He's foregoing money to have you do the right thing. So to him, the relationship is more important than just making a quick buck. Yeah. Because he knows that if he sells something that isn't up to par, up to his standards, then they probably won't come back and use him again. 100%. But you guys have an incredible amount of repeat clients that come back again and again and again, and it's because the relationship is more important than the money.
We still have clients from the day we started. Like one of our clients out of California, I remember this to this day. I love this story because we were very early on in stages and we understood like how to analyze properties, and he wanted to call our bluff. He did. And we were going to the auction, and so what we did to make it fair to everybody, hey, this is the dollar amount we're willing to do. This is the dollar amount. Here's everybody to be transparent. Mm-hmm. And whoever is willing to go the highest, you get to go on it. And so this client, he goes, no, you're not going to go that high. No, you won't. I said, yeah, we will. And I really wanted this property. I really did. I was like, Daniel, you go to this client and tell him where we're willing to go. And we said, hey, we'll give it to you first, but you need to be willing to come high enough so you don't lose out. Yeah. And he was like, nope. Don't want to. We're like, you sure? You get first dibs at it because your client. We'll always give clients first opportunity. Yep. And we'll go second. And he goes, no, I'm going to call your bluff, really. He didn't say it like that, but he said, I don't think you'll go that high. He goes, well, here's the dollar amount. You can see our bid. Mm-hmm. And so we showed him transparency, the bid that was going in, and we got the property. And then to this day, he's like, I should have freaking gone on that property. That's a freaking amazing property. And so that's what we do for our clients as well, is like, we put our money where our mouth is. Like, hey, if we're going to buy a property, we'll give you opportunity. But if you don't want it, we're going to take it. And that's why, to this day, we still have clients from day one that are still with us, buying with us, and own a lot of properties and sell through us and build their portfolios.
I love that. Yeah, that's, again, it goes back to integrity, right? And one of my favorite quotes, one of my mentors actually told me this many, many years ago, is that the difference between honesty and integrity, honesty is doing the right thing. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
And it's just like that always sticks with me. And so it's always a good benchmark for me. Am I being honest or do I have integrity? Mm-hmm. And so I always lean toward integrity, right? Transparency is integrity.
Oh, 100%.
In my book. So it's either honesty or transparency. You get one or the other. Oh, yeah. Right? But they're not the same. Mm-mm. So, cool.
I agree. It's like it's like a husband and wife, and a wife goes out to dinner or whatever, and it's like, hey, I'm going out with a girlfriend. Okay, well, okay. But then I go, and there's boys and girls and everything. Yeah. Transparency is, hey, Daniel, I'm going with Jessica, and then her husband's going to be there, and his friend's going to be there, and da-da-da-da. Yep. And telling the whole scope of it and making sure everything's there.
It's not leaving any questions left on that needed to be asked.
Yes, because if there's a question, it needs to be said.
100%. Yep. All right. That. So my last and final question for you today is, what are you currently learning that is changing the way that you think?
Oh my gosh, a lot.
I wanted to ask the hard questions.
I know. I'm going to change this a little bit and say what I do in the morning to transform my mind every day.
Ooh, I like that.
So I think as an entrepreneur and a leader, I have to really put myself through struggle every day to realize, hey, I can do anything. I can change. I can become who I need to become for the business. Because I do. I have to become what the business has to have. Otherwise, we won't grow to the 22,000. Not happening. And so every single morning, I go out and I run, and then I train on weights. But what I truly do, and what is painful as anything, I get out. This morning my feet were falling off. But every morning I get in a cold plunge that is 38 degrees.
No. Yeah. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for the invite, and I respectfully say no.
And so sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And people are like, why do you do this, Tiff? And the only reason why I do it, is because it trains my mind that my mind is greater than what my body thinks I can do. Mm-hmm. And so as I get in, I sit in, and my feet are falling off or it's getting painful, I go, okay, this is this pain. Yeah. But if I can go through this, I can transform my mindset to go where we need to go. And so it sounds weird, but it trains me on a daily basis that I can transform and become better. And I listen to audibles, but I do other things. But I think that is the one thing that I would say is transformable.
Yeah. And I will say I've done cold plunges and I absolutely loved them. I just don't want to get in. Once I'm in, I'm fine. But for me, it's that mental struggle of just getting in the pool.
Right? It is. It's a mental struggle. And it's oh, I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt. But
it creates the fortitude. And it goes back to what we said earlier about, going beyond your comfort zone. Right. And
1000%.
that creates that mental fortitude to just keep going. You push through, keep going, keep going.
Yeah. And you do. And to get to 22,500, it's going to be a push, and it's going to have to keep going and keep going, push past the brakes, push past the brakes. Because there are going to be breaks.
Yeah.
And there are going to be issues, and there are going to be hard, and there is going to be mistakes. But without that, we couldn't get to that.
Correct.
And so that's what my dad told me. I was on a call with him this morning, and he's been going through a lot, and I look up to him a lot. He's gone through cancer, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I asked him this morning, I said, Dad, what do you want your grandkids to know? And he said, there's always something greater on the other side. And I said, wow, because he's gone through hell and back. Like,
yep.
I wholeheartedly respect this man more than anything, because he just kept fighting when I probably would have given up. But I look at him and I go, because every day I look at him, I'm like, man, he just continues. He's always been this way. And I said, how did you learn that? He said, I just learned as a little kid that, you don't ask yourself what you want to do. You ask for yourself what you need to do. What do you need to do to get to the end? And it's not about what I want to do in the moment, because our brains are trained and wired to protect us.
Yeah.
So if we're going to protect, I'm going to go the easy way out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going to get to what we want to and what we need, we have to go through the hard. We have to break through that wall. We have to break through that cement. And so I loved that this morning. It reminded me, okay, just keep going.
Well, and we always need to remember that mistake isn't a bad word.
No.
And I think that a lot of people are so fearful of making a mistake because they're geared toward perfection.
Yes.
And it's a mistake the first time, it's a choice the second time. And I always remind myself that. So was this a mistake or was this a choice? Mm-hmm. And so as long as I'm making mistakes, I'm growing.
Oh, 100%. You can't grow, you can't learn without mistakes, right?
Correct.
I love that.
I know there's that old cliche, and I'm sure everybody's going to be like, oh, but it's not how many times you fall down. It's how many times you get back up.
Oh, I love that one. So true. It's interesting you said that, and then we'll close. But, when a child is learning how to crawl, what happens? They struggle, and everybody's like, oh, you got this, you got this, you got this. And then they learn how to walk and fall, and they get up and they fall, and everybody's like, oh, you got this, you got this, you got this, no problem, you got this. Don't worry about it. You fell. It's learning. But somehow, when we turn to be teenagers and we turn to be adults, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can't fail.
Yeah.
Because if I do, someone else is going to see it. Mm-hmm. Or, oh, they're going to perceive something. They're going to judge me. So what?
Fear of perception.
Right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if you don't fail and if you don't allow yourself to fail, then we can't learn and grow.
I agree.
And so I love that.
This has been great. I appreciate you answering all my questions, and you've just been very transparent and honest. And
awesome.
I appreciate all of that.
Well, thank you for putting me in the hot seat. Wait
Always.
for another episode to come out. It will be amazing.
It will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today to The Road Less Traveled. If you're organizing an event, workshop, or simply planning something exciting and would like to have Tiffany Rosenbaum join you or want to have her on your podcast, visit TiffanyMRosenbaum.com and click on Book Tiffany to get started.